Hey guys, and welcome back to YT News. In today's video, we'll be catching you guys about the console release of Rust. But first, we need you guys to support the channel by liking the video and subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. Turn on notifications too so you don't miss out on a future video, especially the ones where we release about the Rust beta on console. Anyways, let's just get right into today's video. The console version of Rust was first announced at Microsoft's XO19 in London at the end of 2019. Rust is said to be released in 2020. We have no date or month, but all we know is that it's going to be this year, or that at least it was announced by the game developers. Well, now we're in September and we're kind of running out of months at this point. Surely that means that we're close to the release, right? Well, the thing is, that beta has not been released yet. So for the moment, everyone is completely in the dark about when they get to play Rust on console in some way. Another really important thing to think about is that in November, there'll be some new consoles released. That is, of course, the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. So at this point, does that mean the game will be playable on those consoles too? Compatibility on all consoles, it would make sense if they did that. But there's not been anything said about that, so yeah. The game's release is just filled with lots of complications, as you can see. Players are just super excited to get their hands on the game. There is no sign about when the beta will be released or when the game actually gets released, but by the look of things, it'll be extremely close to the release date of the full games. But for now, it looks like it's pretty close to the release, well, the estimated release date, which is later this year. Some are really worried that the game could be delayed because of the pandemic and the developers couldn't work from home. It is a possibility, but nothing has been said yet. Not much has been said about the game's release at all, so we could just only assume that things are still on track. Well, we do have a small clue because of a tweet. Gary Newman, founder of FACEPUNCH Studios, who has been working on the game, answered a question on Twitter regarding the release of Rust on console. And this is what he had to say. "We're hoping either later this year or early next year." So it's more or less still on track for this year, but perhaps being delayed to earlier next year. But that might be for the full release. We still have no idea when the beta's coming, but Gary's tweet does suggest we should be expecting it this year. Possibly soon. We might not have to wait that long. The beta that appears on the Microsoft Store was confirmed by Gary Newman as an internal test of the game for Rust's team. Something could be happening soon, you'd never know. Well, we can't take Gary's word for it as a final until something is formally announced. I mean, you can't really believe everything on Twitter, can you? For the moment, he has no idea when it will be fully released. All he just knows is just an estimate, a rough estimate. So at the moment, it's just predictions and speculations, and we're hoping something is happening really soon. Speaking of speculations, let's talk price. On Steam, it's about $40. We can expect that to roughly be the prices for the consoles when they're finally released. It is possible that there might be slightly more, as pretty much all console games tend to be more expensive than games on PC. We do expect the beta to be 3 though, so at least everyone gets the opportunity to at least play the game before the playwall. As mentioned already, the game is being launched on both the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, and it's safe to assume that we'll be getting crossplay between the two consoles, which will be super awesome. I wouldn't expect there to be crossplay for any kind of PC users, because it wouldn't really make the game balanced and fair to the console players, as PC players have more customizable controls, for example, rather than those on consoles. But now, the last word of the release date. It may be smart to have the game released earlier next year or the holidays of this year. They might have to avoid November as much as possible. This is because November has a lot happening already, and it might just drown them out in the noise. We already mentioned the next gen consoles being released at that time, but then the blockbuster AAA games are also being dropped this month in close to succession, like Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Cyberpunk 2077. If they release the game in that window, then their glory will be taken away by those games that are just way too big for them. So they need to find a more quiet and suitable month to release it, obviously. Just a thought. That brings us to the end of today's video, guys. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys did enjoy, then make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already to see more awesome content like this. We'll catch you guys next time, and until then, take care and goodbye for now.